kind of this hot take ties in pretty well. So training in the gi is a waste of time because it is not applicable to in a real life scenario. Um, so that's a two-parter, right? Training in the gi is a waste of time, but the reason is it's not applicable in a real life scenario. So my question then is, so is no gi applicable in a real life scenario? Like, well, yeah, because people don't walk around wearing gis. Yeah, but also you don't fight on mats. Have you ever honestly played guard on concrete? If you have ever, even just grappling on concrete, not in a real fight, but if you try to play a closed guard, any guard that requires movement, which is basically any guard, you cannot slide up and down concrete like you do mats, right? You cannot create the angles, especially with somebody else's body weight on you, like you can on mats. And then, like, and this is with concrete, you watch MMA fighters. MMA fighters at this point in MMA do not pull guard. Why? Because it is not applicable to a real fight. It is way more important to be on top in a real fight than anything else. Yes, it's important to not be able to not get hit. Maybe that's more important. But then after not getting hit, it is being on top. And so the way jiu-jitsu is trained now, whether you're wearing a gi or not, if you want to split hairs, it is not applicable to a real life scenario. And so, but the truth is, for most people, having 6 months of jiu-jitsu training where you have trained live, you will have so much more fight experience than almost any other average Joe, and you will probably be able to beat them in a fight, right? And I know that that's like, a very little amount of jiu-jitsu training. And it wouldn't matter if you were wearing a gi or you were wearing no gi. It really wouldn't. Most people just can't fight at all. Now, it's like if we start to say, well, what if you're fighting somebody who's tough? Well, yeah, if you're fighting somebody who's tough, you need to be better. It's like I have this comment on one of my videos, one of my sweeping positions that I play. I post on YouTube, and one of the comments is like, I bet this wouldn't work on Khabib. Who has ever done anything in grappling that works on Khabib? So then to say like, oh, well, that is, that's I only add stuff to my game that would work on Khabib. What are you adding to your game? I don't know what you're going to be using then. And so it's so easy to say like, well, yeah, you need to do no-gi if you want self-defense. It's just not true. Are people wearing spandex? Are you only fighting surfers? Like, no, you're not. And so the reason that jiu-jitsu is so effective in a fight scenario, and I kind of look at two things. Obviously, jiu-jitsu has submissions. Obviously, jiu-jitsu has positional control. Obviously, so many fights will end up on the ground. There is the jiu-jitsu side of why jiu-jitsu is effective in a real-life scenario. But the other side of it is, what other martial art can you train at 100% intensity that often? Right? Like a fight is at 100% intensity. A real fight, a real life scenario, it's 100% intensity. And so if you are grappling at 100% intensity 4 days a week for 6 months, you're going to be so much more prepared for how a real life scenario is going to feel. And you're going to be so much better at, once you connect to somebody, being able to hug them, being able to use the underhooks that you have with that connection to control that person. And so to act like, oh, well, yeah, if you play spider guard, you would never win a fight. It's like, if that's all you know how to do, but how many good spider guard players do you know that couldn't play close guard, that couldn't sweep somebody, that couldn't get on top, right? That being said, if your goal is real life scenario, you really should work from the feet, getting to clinches and taking people down. That is really important when you look at real fights. Okay. Your hair is fake. This one's messed up. it's not fake.